Well, good afternoon. It's Tuesday, June 25th, and this is only the second time I've gotten out on my boat alone. I got out early in May and on a trip up north with my brothers. So we're going to get out in the Superior Bay again, and a couple of things I want to check out. I've got a new action cam. I'm going to try that out, see if I can figure out placement, see what the video's like. And I also have kind of played around with a way of using my whisker pole and being able to jibe from side to side with the whisker pole without having to go forward and move the pole. So we're going to see how that works today. I think I've got it figured out. So here we go. Okay, we got my camera up there on the mizzen, just pointed forward, and we'll see what that does. I have a tie to it because I'm not real secure on that mount right now, which worries me a little bit. But we'll see. And we're ready to roll. It's a little gusty out here today. Wind's blowing off the dock. And so I should be able to sail out. No motor. So I got this little remote here that should turn my camera on and off. I'll try to make sure she's pointed forward before I go, and then we're going to go sailing. So the first thing I'm going to have to figure out is whether I have that camera turned on or not, because it's a little hard to tell, especially when it's bright out and I have my sunglasses on. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to just keep turning it on and off, see what I get today. It's I'm going to head upwind, and a little bit of a chop right now. Our sailing association is up the road a little bit here, so I'm going to stop in, see if I can say hi to some folks I know, and then get back out. Okay, so I went from reefed main, jib and mizzen to just mizzen, and decided to find some cover here for a little bit because it's ripping. Gonna head over to shore here and tuck in, and decide what I want to do from there. There's an old dock over here where I'll get some cover from this, couple of elevators. Couldn't quite get the jib rolled up all the way. I needed another wrap or two on that. And I could clean up my mainsail too, because that's catching a little bit. Alright, we're coming in here. I decided to come back on this side. I'm gonna try to not anchor, and this way I'll get blown into sand beach rather than a hard wall if weird things happen. It seemed like a logical thing to do. We're moving right along here on just mizzen. Blows me in here. Okay, so I was looking at sail flow, and that turned quickly into a 30 to 40 mile an hour wind out there. So, you know, it was a little hairy, but I was pretty easily able to reduce sail. It did get to a point where I really couldn't sail into the wind, and I just turned around and tucked myself away for a bit. 2:30 in the afternoon. Winds are likely to come down in a bit here, but like I said, we're just going to play it by ear. Well, it doesn't look like much, but the It's still showing 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts farther up the bay. I'm going to just kind of bump along under missile and see what happens here. See if it starts to come down. It's a little early. It's probably going to blow like this for a while. So I finally made a proper tiller keeper. So I've got that on. I'm using a bungee instead of a static rope. Let's see how that performs. But I've got the mizzen in a little bit. I've got the helm wants to go upwind, so I'm holding it back and seeing what kind of progress we're going to make to windward like this. And we're going to roll back out into this in a minute or so. So, time to experiment. Well, we're back out here in it. Again, with just the mizzen up, we're making 1.5 to 2 knots per forward progress. Looks like there's another wind line level coming up here, a little higher winds. Let's see what it does with that. Hands off the tiller, it's just on the tiller tamer. The wind's still blowing 20 to 30, plus 40 and 50, almost up to 50, 45. There was one big gust up to 50 earlier. Pretty good sized waves, rollers coming down the bay right now. Short and steep. Alright, now we're going to see how fast we can go downwind on a mizzen. It's been fun, but not much today. Well, I got the wind on my nose as I head back to the dock here. Yeah, I think it's going to keep blowing for a while. They got a couple of folks in the water, cops, rescues out looking for her on the Duluth, on the lakeside. As unfortunately we hear those kind of calls every now and again. So we're gonna pack it in for the day. It's good to get out. Learned a few new things. Well, back at the launch and packed up, ready to head home. I was only out for a couple hours, but it was a pretty raucous 2 hours of sailing, and yeah, I'll have to get back out in the evening if I have a chance. Well, thanks for watching today. I didn't get around to a couple of things I was hoping to share, but we'll get there next time.
So I thought I'd do a little epilogue on today's sail. It was an interesting day. I went out expecting 15 to 20, gusts to 25, and it turned out to be a bit more than that. I got to admit, one of the things I am never quite sure of is what is the wind speed on the surface of the lake. The readings that I take are coming from sail flow, and one of the areas that we generally get the highest winds on the bay is coming off a bridge that's a couple hundred feet off the water at least. And so I don't know if that's what I'm experiencing or not, because today it was saying that we were consistently getting gusts into the 40-mile, low 40s, mile an hour, 30-mile an hour, and winds were 25 and above overall. So it was was blowing pretty good. I don't know if that's, like I said, is exactly what I experienced on the water, but there was about a 2 mile fetch there where I was, and those rollers built up pretty darn quickly, as you may have noticed in a couple of those videos. So my choice today was to reduce sail. I could have pushed a little bit harder, but the wind was shifty, and so I was ending up in a situation where if I used the jib, trying to sail into the wind, the big shifts, I'd end up flogging that sail pretty badly when I'd get a header, and trying to keep the sail full and controlled without feeling overpowered was just becoming a lot of work. So I sail, especially when I'm by myself, pretty conservatively, and instead decided to do some experimenting with seeing what I can do with just the mizzen, and how that if you can move the boat forward with any amount of speed. So I was interested to see how that worked out. I was able to achieve forward motion at a knot or two, and easily sailed downwind. Actually got kicking pretty good downwind with just the mizzen, and that's not something I've done before. So anyway, thank you for watching today. Hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow is supposed to be lighter winds, and I'm hoping to get out for that nice relaxed sail on the water that I didn't quite get today. Oh, and one other thing. You may have noticed no action cam video in this video. That's because I never figured out how to turn it on. I kept hitting the button, but I couldn't see, and conditions were pretty crazy. I didn't want to get up and mess with the camera, and so I just figured I'd turn it on and off every 5 minutes or so, and I should capture something. But I got back, and apparently I wasn't turning it on and off. So that's another thing we'll try on another day. Hope to see you again. Thanks for joining me.